A question I get pretty often is how much money can I make if I were to take the job that I currently have and go work the same type of job up in Alaska? We've all obviously heard that you can make great money working on the oil fields up here in Alaska. It's great money, and if that's kind of your skill set, you're set. Here you go, you're in the promised land. But what are kind of some of the higher paying jobs if you are not if you're not actually one of those in kind of that skill set and have that skilled labor? That's going to be the topic of today's video, is kind of diving into the numbers and giving you kind of an idea for what you can expect within your industry. These aren't going to be super precise. These are going to be just general numbers that we have from the Alaska Department of Labor, but it does give you a pretty good idea. Now, before we get started though, make sure that you do give this video a like and make sure that you subscribe. And also, if you have questions about a specific industry, make sure to post those down below so I have the ability to maybe give you a little insight as you're trying to feel the landscape out up here. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it. Now, keep in mind, these are going to be general numbers we got from the Department of Labor and Workforce Development Research and Analysis. These numbers are going to be pretty accurate, but obviously there's going to be holes in any information. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the employment where you can get outside of the oil field and see how much you can make in jobs outside of that. So starting off, a general dentist actually makes roughly about $20,000 a month up here. So that's doing pretty good. Chief executives, they're going to make about $14,700, doing pretty good. Got airline pilots, they're going to make roughly about $14,250. Chemical engineers, I want to say that's pretty related to the oil field, but about $12,000. Optometrists, again about $12,000 a month. Pharmacists, about $11,884. Physician assistants, about $10,711. And of course, it just goes down the list here, and I'll put the link for that in the description just so you can go and review all of these on your own. But what I really want to look at is just kind of looking at some property, at some more, I'm not going to say lower end, but not necessarily the jobs that are going to be super high paying or require a lot of experience going into it. So let's look at just dental assistants, and that's going to be an industry that's seeing a lot of growth right now up here, and openings are going to be very high. On average, they're going to have about $4,100 per month, so doing pretty good. Healthcare support workers, again, about roughly about $4,200 actually a month, so that's doing pretty good as well. Farm workers, laborers, crop nursery, greenhouses, roughly about $2,700 a month. Looking at kind of the physical therapists, they're looking at about $8,500 a month. Physician assistants, $10,700. And kind of what you can really see here is a lot of these areas where you're seeing a lot of openings and a lot of opportunities are going to be more oriented towards the health and medical fields. You do see kind of some fitness trainers and aerobic instructors here, roughly around $3,300 a month, and maybe some personal care aides. I guess they don't have numbers for that. Registered nurses, though, about $7,500. And yeah, so what we really see from this is that you have a lot of options if you're going to be working somewhat in the medical or personal care industry. Not always, obviously. There are some other great options here as well, but that's just kind of to give you some context going into it. Those are going to be kind of your higher paying jobs that are not immediately inside of the oil industry. Now, if you're like me and you don't have any medical background, and you might not be a welder or auditor or anything like that, and you're looking more at maybe some entry-level jobs just to get started, I can say from personal experience, I worked as a server for a little bit, and you make minimum wage, which is just over $10 an hour in addition to tips. And I mean, partly because I was good, but also, just because you're able to take more tables and stuff like that up here, I'd be very rare I didn't make at least 100 a night walking out. So just something to kind of consider. I never found myself really wanting for money, as long as you're good in how you spend it and you're not stretching yourself too thin financially. You can live pretty comfortably on one of those entry-level jobs, just as long as you have kind of some financial savviness going into it. Now keep in mind, these are generalizations, and these are designed just as a starting point to help you get an idea for kind of what the labor force is like up here. Obviously, you're not going to know until you actually start interviewing people and you kind of get up here and kind of see how the rubber meets the road. Really, there's always going to be opportunities for those who are creative, motivated, and are going to be willing to think outside the box pretty often if they have to. So if you got those characteristics, I don't really see it be an issue. You're always going to have some kind of an opportunity regardless where you're at. So if you can be anywhere, might as well be Alaska. Thanks for watching. If this has been useful, as always, make sure you give it a like, make sure you subscribe, and if you have any questions that you want to have answered in future videos, make sure you post those down below so I know best how to gear this channel in order to answer the questions that you have.